What's going on, SC430 community? My name is Henry. Today's video, we're going to be testing the SC430 on the dyno. We're going to be basically doing it a before and after type thing, because obviously right now I have a mostly stock SC430, and down the road, 5-ish to 10 years maybe, planning on supercharging it. Reason we're testing this dyno for the SC430 is because of the Quantum Auto mod that I recently put in. You can check that out on my YouTube channel. Basically, I showed you how to take the ECU out, send it out to Quantum Auto, and then did a tuning of getting rid of the rev limiter, getting rid of the speed limit that's on the car, and then also adding a dyno mode feature to this car. So that dyno mode feature is basically, as soon as you put ECT power on inside the car, it'll lock the car into 4th gear for dyno mode. So things that could give us a higher horsepower is probably the few mods that I've done to it besides the ECU tune. So that's being the throttle controller. I put Hitachi ignition coils. I'm not sure if that's performance ignition coils, but from seeing on Lexus forums, supposedly they are. And then I also have a resonator and muffler duct. Obviously, again, it's not a lot of performance related mods, so this is pretty much going to be stock. According to Quantum Auto, doing a dyno mode with this ECU tune, just completely bone stock, we're shooting for around 220 horsepower. And then obviously with the Lexus SC430, its listing horsepower is 300. So obviously the car is almost 25 years old because this is an 02. We could see maybe a horsepower difference over the years, right? Based on how healthy the engine is and how healthy everything is with the car. So my guess, best case scenario, I'm shooting for 280 horsepower in this car. Obviously, if it was in the healthiest condition, had a little bit more mods to it, I would say more than 300. It would be like maybe 310. But let me know what you think by the end of the video. If after the dyno performance, let me know if you thought it was going to be higher or lower than the listing of 300 horsepower for this car. But let's get to the dyno.
That's good. That's better than I thought.
Stock is 300.
I don't know. They said hopefully.
So when they dyno it's supposed to be 220. Yeah. When they dyno it's supposed to be 220, but they sold it for 300.
Trying to see if it would work. done around that. That's usually about
Yeah,
right
to be
now.
honest with you, I think that's like maybe the second one that I've done with it, like out of the 3 years that I've worked with it. And I really don't know the numbers, to be honest with you.
Should usually with the tune is 220.
So that's
Not bad.
yeah. Then you got what was it,
stock.
18 more horsepower than what you thought it was with the tune. So it's not too bad. It's NA. As much else done to it.
All right, what's going on, SC430 community? So, as you can see from the dyno, the car survived. Honestly, I had very low expectations. I honestly think the engine was gonna blow or something bad was gonna happen, like a severe leak out of it. But it's been about a week since I did the dyno, and so far the car runs like nothing ever happened. The only reason why I thought the engine was going to blow just because I haven't done all the maintenance slash upgrades I want to do to this car, so I was questionable to know the actual condition of the other components from this car, because originally when I got this car, I believe it had a head gasket issue, only because my coolant was jello. It probably means that someone probably put head gasket sealer in the car and never flushed it out entirely, so that gives me the assumption that there was probably a head gasket leak to some degree, but I haven't seen any leaks since I've gotten the car, besides coolant issues, obviously, because of the head gasket sealer that was in it. So the whole cooling system was all jello-y and a bunch of garbage, so it took a lot of flushing and destroying of several radiators. I've gone through 4 radiators with this car, believe it or not. But besides that, we ended up getting 238 horsepower. So that is to the wheel. Obviously the listing on like Lexus, it's 300 horsepower or 298 for the second generation SC430, and that's because that's to the crank. So that means straight out of the engine. Reason we lose almost 100 horsepower is because of the transmission, the gears, the drivetrain, everything that leads up from the engine to the actual wheels itself. So we ended up getting 238 horsepower. So with the mods, right, Quantum Auto, the picture that they have on their website, with the ECU tune, you're gonna get about 220 horsepower. So my guess is if you just ran the dyno just completely bone stock, no mods, no nothing, I would assume we would probably be getting 200 to 210-ish horsepower. And then with the ECU tune gets you 220. Obviously I got a little bit higher and I got 238. That could be again because of the few mods I've done that would possibly affect the performance, right? So the performance ignition coils, the Hitachis, the Canon air filter, that would do anything. And then we obviously have the throttle controller from Calvin's SC430 mod. So I have the first generation of that throttle controller, so I only have eco mode, normal mode, and then numbers 1.0 all the way up to 3.9. So obviously I've maxed it out to 3.9. That's why in the beginning of the dyno you can see the car kind of like swivel a little bit due to the dyno specialist getting used to the way the pedal response is, right? And then obviously we had the ECU tune on top of that, so that gave us a boost. And then obviously, as you can hear probably from my car, I have a resonator and muffler delete, so that helps with a little bit of the airflow. So yeah, so with that being said, 238 horsepower for my SC430 compared to a stock one, not much of a difference. I hope to maybe in the future, way down the road when I'm older, I have maybe probably a better salary than what I currently have now, since I'm pretty young. So I got a lot of time. I want to eventually have this as like a before modifying the engine, and then eventually down in the future have another video of after modifying the engine. So that's doing basically everything I possibly can to the stock engine without having to do like a 2JZ swap. I want to make the fastest SC430 with the stock engine. Because in my eyes, when I think of a car, right, you want the most amount of horsepower with that car, not by swapping the engine from another car, the engine that comes with the car. So whether I lose and, like, let's say screw up this 3UZ engine, I want to get another one. I plan to down the road supercharge this car, modify the performance of the engine and the car itself as much as I can, right? Obviously we're not going to push too much, but then we're going to try to throw it on the dyno again and see what happens down the road. Who knows how long it'll take me? It could take me 5 years, it could take me 10 years, 20 years, who knows? Again, it just depends on how life goes for me. I'm, again, very young, so not it's not like I'm on a time crunch or anything. So, but even supercharging this engine, we should keep in mind that even though the crank horsepower is 300, and then after doing all the supercharging and the modifications, I would assume the crank horsepower, we could maybe get 350, maybe. When it comes to the wheel, hopefully we're lucky enough to just push just over 300 horsepower. Again, these cars, although it is a sports coupe, it's not meant to be a sports car. It's just a nice, luxurious, hardtop V8 convertible. That's it. But other than that, let me know what your thoughts were, what we were expecting. Were you surprised by how much horsepower this car was able to get, or was it a downfall? I'm sure it's a downfall for probably a lot of people, but it is what it is. I'm not mad about it. It was totally expected. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.